Change management is one of the biggest topics in project management and also one of the ones people get confused about the most. And yes, on the PMP exam, you are almost certain to see questions about changes and change requests. The tricky part is that they don't test just definitions. They test how you think as a project manager. So, if we really understand how change works in real projects, those questions suddenly become much easier. You can spot bad options fast and go straight to the right one. Let's walk through this together in a simple way. First thing first, changes always happen. Always. It doesn't matter how perfect the plan looks or how experienced the team is. Customers change their minds, regulations change, vendors run late, technology moves forward, a risk turns into a real issue, someone asks for something extra. Think about building a house. You finish the design and then the owner says, "Can we add another room?" Or "I want bigger windows." Or the city comes back with a new rule you have to follow. That's change. Same thing in software. You're halfway through and the customer suddenly says, "Actually, we need a mobile version too." Yeah, change again. So, good project managers don't pretend changes won't happen. They expect them. The real question isn't if change will happen, it is how we deal with it without creating chaos. And that depends a lot on the type of project we are running. Now, let's keep it simple. There are two common environments you need to know very well for the PMP exam: predictive and agile. In predictive projects, we try to plan most things upfront: scope, schedule, and budget. We set those early, build a detailed plan, and then follow it. Construction projects are a great example. You can't just keep redesigning the foundation every few weeks, so you plan carefully before you start. Agile projects work differently. Agile assumes change is very likely. Instead of fixing everything at the beginning, the team works in short cycles, gets feedback often, and adjusts along the way. Software projects use this approach a lot. So basically, predictive says, let's plan first, then tightly control changes. On the other hand, agile says, change is normal, let's build our process so we can adapt easily. Because of that, changes are handled differently in each one. Let's start with Agile. In Agile, change isn't scary, it is expected. Teams work in short periods called sprints, usually 2 or 3 weeks. At the start of each sprint, they decide what they will work on next. If the customer comes up with new ideas or priorities shift or the market changes, those things can be discussed and added to future sprints. Instead of filling out heavy paperwork for every little adjustment, agile teams rely on frequent planning meetings, close communication with the customer, and constantly reordering what's most important. They usually keep something called a product backlog. A product backlog is basically a running wish list for the product. That's just a big list of everything the customer might want. New ideas go in, low priority items move down, high priority items move up. That's how Agile naturally handles change. Now, does that mean Agile never uses formal change requests? Well, not really. Big things like contract changes, major budget impacts, or huge scope shifts may still need formal approval. For instance, the sponsor might agree to add a whole new system module that requires extra funding, or a contract with a vendor might need to be renegotiated because the scope has grown significantly. But day to day changes are part of the system. Agile basically says, "Cool, things changed, let's reprioritize and keep going." Now, let's switch to predictive projects because this is where change requests really matter. So, what's a change request? In plain language, it's a formal request to change something that was already approved in the project management plan. We agreed on something, it got approved, and now someone wants to change it. That request has to be written down, reviewed, and officially decided on. Not just talked about in the hallway, not casually, formally. Okay, here's a huge exam rule. Burn this into your brain. If the project management plan is not approved yet, we do not create change requests. Why? Because we are still planning. Nothing is locked in. We can adjust things freely while building the plan. We might revise the schedule estimates, update the scope description, add new risks to the risk register, or change how we plan to communicate with stakeholders without submitting any formal change request yet. But once that plan is approved, everything changes. Let me slow down here because this is critical. If something affects the approved project management plan, then yes, you need a change request every time. The project management plan is basically the big master plan for the whole project. It covers how we manage scope, schedule, cost, quality, risks, communications, procurement, stakeholders, all of it. So if someone wants extra features that affect scope, if the deadline moves, that hits the schedule, if we need more money, that's cost, switching vendors, procurement, all of those need formal change requests. But, and this is important, we don't create change requests just to update tracking documents like the change log or the issue log. Those are living documents. They are meant to be updated all the time to keep people informed. Updating them doesn't change the project baseline, so no formal request is needed for that. Now, let's say a change request is created in a predictive project. That doesn't mean it is approved automatically. It's just a request. The team looks at it and asks things like how much will this cost? Will it delay us? What new risks come with it? Does quality change? Do we need new contracts? That analysis goes up for review, usually to a group called the Change Control Board. The Change Control Board is basically the people who are allowed to say yes or no. That might be senior managers, sponsors, technical experts, or business reps. Their job is to review the impact and decide what to do. When reviewing the request, they look at the effects on cost, schedule, scope, risk, and quality. As a result of this evaluation, they might approve it, they might reject it, they might ask for more info, or they might say, not now, let's decide it later. If it gets approved, then the plans and baselines are updated, everyone is informed, and the project continues under the new rules. So, where does the project manager fit in? The project manager usually isn't the one making big approval decisions alone. Instead, they make sure the whole process runs properly. They collect the requirements, document them, work with the team to analyze impacts, send them to the change control board, and then communicate whatever decision comes back. Think of the project manager as a traffic controller. They keep things from going wild. They stop uncontrolled changes, what we often call scope creep. Scope creep is when tiny changes sneak in without approval. You know, just one small feature, just a quick extension, just a little favor, and suddenly the project is late and over budget. The discipline around change requests is what protects the project from that. So, if this video helped you, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments what topic you want me to cover next. See you in the next video. Keep studying smart and keep going.